G'day everyone, welcome back. Grandma's Handbag contest entry. Dan, Dots and Loops, music and film. I like it. This is going to be a bit of a weird one, but first things first is the helper. Dan, especially for you, Coopers. I know you're a greenie, but I've only got reds under the bed, so this is a Coopers red for you. Interesting fact, and you don't see this happen anymore, but you're actually supposed to roll a Coopers. There's a lot of sediment in the bottom, mixes it in good and nice. Anyway, Coopers Red is a sparkling ale, classic Australian beer, 5.8%, nice and full flavoured. I hope that doesn't upset this. No, all good here. This wouldn't have changed taste down to 30 years ago back in Glebe in Sydney. Wish you could be here now having it. Anyway, what to say about Dots and Loops, Dan's channel. Look, lovely, lovely guy. We all know the channel. Fantastic channel. And just a lovely bloke as well. Those authoritative stentorian tones. No mucking about. It's mountain time. But there's a hell of a lot of fun that goes on Dan's channel as well. You know, whether they're going on thrift hunts, the Dots and Loops record store, coming in 9 years now, Dan? Or the generational showdown stuff around Christmas time, where his, Dan's very own son may have almost as good, if not better, taste than his dad. But anyway, masterclass in parenting to have a kid with that great music taste. Anyway, I like it. Something that you like that may not get the critics or other things, things that other people may not like. And this is one I just wanted to show. Is what you heard at the start there is British Sea Power. I'll see if I can pull that up a tiny bit more. British Sea Power, 2003, their debut album. As you can see, the pomposity is evident. British Sea Power's classic, The Decline of British Sea Power. So, if you're going to start off your career with a debut album, calling it a classic, and then even putting in a quote at the beginning, "We ourselves may be loved only for a brief time, even so, that will suffice. There is a land for a living and there is a land for the dead." Well, look, if you're going to start things off like that, you're pretty much opening yourself up to criticism. And you know what? Maybe that's fair enough as well. But I also wonder why it's the criticism due. I don't know if this is a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm not sure if I completely go into bat for him or what. But anyway, if I tell you a bit of British Sea Power's history, the first I heard of them was probably on this compilation here on Rough Trade 25. Stop me if you think you've heard this before. So what it is newer bands covering older Rough Trade bands. So you've got covers of things like the Feelies, Young Marble Giants, Aztec Camera, James Blood Ulmer, Robert Wyatt, and British Sea Power came on and into my ears by covering Galaxy 500's Tugboat. Wonderful cover. I was besotted with that song, and then any band that was going to cover that needed to know more. So soon found this as a debut album coming out, and I jumped all in. And I think at the time there might have been some critical acclaim, or you know, maybe this album wasn't derided by the critics, or all of them anyway. But things kind of got very... They kind of went downhill for the band, I would say. Their second album, Open Season. Look, I think this is a great album. I still really enjoy this. Maybe not quite as good as this but you could see the band becoming even more idiosyncratic, I suppose, very much in their own world. When I say idiosyncratic, I told my sister to go see them around about somewhere between this and that time, 2004-5, catch them live in England, and she said they built a forest on stage. So, you know, there's this kind of wonderful, I thought it was this notion of English eccentricity, which some of the artists, my favourite ones, tend to exhibit. You know, your Robert Wyatt's or your Syd Barrett's. There's plenty more to go on, I imagine. Kevin Ayers or that. So I thought they were in that lineage there. They also have this kind of eco-rocker perspective on there. I mean, there's a track on here called Larson B, Oh Larson B, which is basically a love song, probably the only love song I can think of to an Antarctic ice shelf, put it that way. So yeah, a lot of lyrics and things detail basically, mankind's damaging the earth environmentally, which may be a little bit hard for people to take. I love it though. What can I say? Mind you, by the third album, this one, Do You Like Rock Music? I mean, is that not a pompous enough title in itself? This one, I think their ratings declined even further. Pitchfork were big at the time. You know, they might have got a 7 or so with this one. They might have got a 5 Pitchfork rating with this. With this one, they got one of the very few non-point ratings, and they got U.2. Which is a pretty clear thing, and U2 aren't the most, well, they're pretty persona non grata anyway, but to be called a U2 imitator probably stung quite a bit, but that never stopped the band any which way. And look, to be honest, by that time, I maybe wasn't as well into them. I haven't really followed them after the third album. But even on the strength of this one, I went to go to a concert of theirs in Australia, and my friend was running the venue, basically the venue manager, and I asked him if he could set me up with a freebie, which he did, which came with the actual question, do you actually like those guys? And he stood by his assessment of the band, especially after he saw them live. I really honestly didn't see a problem there at all, but you know, it is what it is, I suppose. Anyway, yeah, look, British Sea Power, I like it. It's eccentric, idiosyncratic, it's pompous. It's hard to even describe exactly what's going on musically here. There's elements of Joy Division and post-punk, pop stuff, British indie or indie pop. You know, even the I've always found even the flow of the album is quite a weird one. You got 6 tracks on side 1, 3 on side 2, just the 1 track on side 3. Believe it or not, the second and third tracks on side 4 are bonus tracks. You had a single 5-minute song on side 4 initially. So, I don't know what else to say about these guys, but I like it. Dan, another thing I really like is your channel. Can't wait to see where you go next with the music and film. And as soon as I saw you were having a contest, I knew I had to get an entry in. I'm not even sure, to be honest, what the prize is. It's more just a case of supporting. Not that you need any support for your channel, but paying homage to a great channel, a great person, who's always in my thoughts every time I grab a Cooper's these days too. So Dan, Dots and Loops, cheers to you. just like your channel, just like this beer, just like this music. I like it. Take care. Bye bye.